right, welcome back, presidential fight fans. We are headed into the Sweet 16 of presidential madness. Most of the pretenders have been sent home or back to their grave. That sounds kind of ghoulish. But the contenders remain. I'm Mark Haggard, history teacher gone rogue, alongside Dan the Animal Young, AP US history teacher, state champion coach in multiple sports, former cage fighter, Hitman. You didn't tell me that you were Jean-Claude Van Damme's fighting double in the movie Bloodsport. You were actually doing the fighting, not the muscles from Brussels.
Yeah, it was a tough gig, but what can I say? The ladies loved it.
I can imagine. All right. As usual, you are encouraged to subscribe to History Teacher Gone Rogue. Click the bell so you know when we ring our bell on our matches. Comment below. Who would you think would win a 44-man tournament with the president's fighting cage matches? Do you agree with our analysis? Analysis? Hey, Casey.
What?
More than one analysis. Is that analysis? Is that analysis? Analyses? All right.
She's giving us the finger again.
Okay. Well, as you know, each of our matches were decided by a panel of the most prestigious fighting historians in the country, including myself and mon ami Dan, and also scoring the fights, the fight doctor Dave McDonald, OC Rob Doran, and Jason Taylor. He was a Division I wrestler at ISU. We didn't always agree, did we, Dan?
Not one bit, man. I still don't know how LBJ is alive in this contest. Baffles my mind, but he keeps advancing.
Hey, and I got Obama in the same way. Hey, let's break down a couple of different ways. Between our founding and of our country in 1850, we still have 6 competitors. From 1850 to 1900, we have 4. From 1900 to 1950, we still have 1 competitor. And from 1950 to the present, we have 5 competitors. Any way to look at that?
I'm not quite sure what to make of it. I thought kind of the Civil War era was going to come through strong, but it's kind of scattered all across the board here.
Yeah, it really is. There is pretty much an even slate there. Okay, let's go right to it. To the East region of Washington, D.C., George Washington versus James Garfield. Both were hardly challenged in the previous round, so both are pretty fresh. Washington at 6'2", 180, the father, the perfect physical specimen for fighting. The Iroquois called him the destroyer of villages. They also called him the White Ghost because while fighting at Fort Necessity, none of the 100 or so arrows shot at him actually hit him. Garfield, 6', 185, comes close to the perfect physical specimen. Dan, you're just not a believer in Garfield.
I'm not. And he was, from my research, a lifelong politician, served 17 years of Congress. That's exactly what George Washington despised in that one. So that I've got Washington taking his aggression out. First round KO in this one in my books.
I'm trying to find an advantage for one over the other. They're both fresh. They're both fairly evenly matched athletically. Dan, there's no question Garfield's courage during the Civil War, but I question his ambition. I wonder if he really wants to be in this tournament at all. He was chosen as a compromise candidate for president in 1880. He campaigned from his house in Ohio rather than go out amongst the people. Garfield, like Harrison, is going to be a challenge, but I go with number 1. Second match of the night, Barack Obama versus William McKinley. The long route from the opening round for both of them. Both lost 2 falls, so really no advantage there. Barry, 6'1", 175, born in Hawaii. He was a senator from Illinois, all the time playing basketball with the Choom Gang, has him in good shape. Dan, I know you're a believer in Obama. Does the smooth southpaw continue his run?
You know, this is the underdog that I've been rolling with. I know he's not yours, but I think he's got a real chance in this one. I'm sticking with Obama.
Yeah, all right. On the other hand, William McKinley, 5'7", 200, square, boxy, built kind of like a Volvo. Volunteered for service in the Civil War, promoted to second lieutenant after being cited for bravery at Antietam. If you can survive fighting under Ambrose Burnside, you can survive anything. Training completed under Philip Sheridan in the Shenandoah Valley, where he learned the motto, the only good opponent is a dead opponent. Dan, I like McKinley.
Like I said, I'm going to take Obama just like when Obama was president and he ixnayed Mount McKinley back to Denali. He's going to ixnay McKinley back to the grave.
All right. Hey, let's move on. In the South region of Nashville, Tennessee, first match, John F. Kennedy versus Franklin Pierce. Kennedy, 6'1", 175, coming off a fairly easy bout against John Adams, giving his ribs time to heal from the first round brawl against FDR. Is Kennedy back to full strength?
You know, ever since Kennedy was saved by a coconut in the war, he's been a very, very fond guy of coconut water. I think he's been drinking about 2 quarts a day. He's going to be healed up. He's ready to go.
Big supporter of coconuts. You know, we've had 2 rounds to talk up JFK. Let's talk Pierce. Do you think he may be gassed from his match after fighting a long match with Rutherford B. Hayes?
He was one of the more stubborn presidents, and so I think that's going to propel him into the next one. Whether he's tired or not, stubbornness will take over for him.
Okay. Pierce, 5'10", 145, mixed record historically. Volunteered for the Mexican War, broke his ankle in a horse riding accident. He then passed out from pain while fighting the next day and was accused of cowardice. Democrats nominated for president simply because he took no stand on slavery. Does he take a stand against Kennedy?
I believe he does. Like I said, he is a very stubborn president. The stand continues. He advances.
Okay. Kennedy had to come out of the first round. Pierce with a first-round bye. Does this give Pierce a leg up?
Only if Johnny's ribs aren't healed yet. But like I said, with that coconut water, I think he's going to be ready. This will be a close one.
Yeah, I think these two are pretty evenly matched. I'm going to go with Kennedy simply because of the Maryland factor. In the other match, hometown hero Andrew Jackson versus Dwight D-Day Eisenhower. Eisenhower, 5'11", 175, lost 2 tough matches to Harry Truman in the opening round, then dispatched John Tyler in about 5 minutes. Jackson, 6'1", 140. He has yet to be challenged. He beat Reagan like a drum, so his legs are good. Who do you like, Dan?
I don't think he's going to be challenged in this one either. I'm taking Jackson over Ike in about 10 seconds.
Jackson, man, he is thin in all of his paintings, but who knew that he was that thin? 6'1", 140? God, nevertheless, Jackson faces the arrows from the Creeks at Horseshoe Bend and the bullets from the British at Orleans. Eisenhower had to deal with Montgomery and de Gaulle. That's rough, but that's not as rough as what Jackson had to face. I'm taking Jackson.
All right, as an avid painter, though, I think he's going to be more worried about that painting of Jackson rather than fighting Jackson. I've got Jackson advancing.
All right. Okay, take to the Midwest at the Target Center in Minneapolis. First match, Lyndon Baines Johnson versus Ulysses S. Grant. Johnson, 6'3", 200. Who knew that LBJ had a build that was this athletic? Johnson lost 1 round to Hoover, lost 1 round to Jefferson. Dan, not a fan of LBJ.
How is this guy still here? He's a talker, not a doer. I'm absolutely astonished that he is still in this bracket.
Yeah, sometimes the underdogs find a way. Grant, 5'8", 155, swept James Buchanan. If anything, he extended most of his energy chasing Buchanan around the ring, not necessarily engaging him. He's given up 7 inches and 45 pounds of Johnson, though. So how does the smaller Grant defeat the bigger Johnson?
Even though Johnson's bigger, he is a big fan of close encounters, and I think that's going to negate his reach advantage, and that's ultimately going to be his demise.
Okay, all right. Evening match, Theodore Roosevelt versus John Quincy Adams. Roosevelt, 5'10", 210, only president to come out of the first and second round without a fall. Dispatch W, dispatch Van Buren, and he never left his feet. The younger Adams, 5'7", 175, beat Jimmy Carter in a long, tough bout. He is stout, though. Carter connected on quite a few punches, and Six was seemingly unfazed. Do you think he'll be unfazed if Roosevelt connects?
Nothing in this fight is going to nothing in this fight is going to phase Teddy. He's too good. He's too versatile. Teddy advances.
Carter, no slouch, but I think Roosevelt might pack a punch that's a lot more than what Carter could have ever brought together. In the West, the Honda Center in Anaheim. Anaheim gets its money worth with 2 great matches, one for drama, one for pure athleticism. James Monroe versus Zachary Taylor. Monroe was tested against Gerald Ford in his first match. Taylor made quick work of Civil War veteran Chester A. Arthur. Monroe, 6 foot, 190, retreated with Washington from New York, rode across the Delaware River, attacked Trenton, wounded, cited by Washington for bravery, trained at Valley Forge, participated at Monmouth, volunteered, commissioned, frustrated when he wasn't needed for the siege of Yorktown. Taylor, 5'8", 230, old rough and ready. I didn't realize he was that big. Born to a prominent family, fought against Indians all across the West in the Seminole War. Ulysses S. Grant said of Taylor during the Mexican War, no soldier could face either danger or responsibility more calmly than he. These are qualities more rarely found than genius or physical courage. What do you say?
Did you actually know that Taylor, in those Seminole Wars, actually billed Congress in order to import some Cuban bloodhounds to fight off the Seminoles? Luckily, the Congress denied him, but that's some serious dedication to the cause. He's going to take that dedication into this match.
Oh, no doubt. Me, America rides Monroe. I'm impressed by his historical record and by his physique. Let the era of good feelings continue. All right, in the last bout of the night, moved to prime time, Richard Nixon versus Abraham Lincoln. O.C. Doring, graduate of Fullerton State, got us a good deal on the Honda Center. We didn't consider that this arena was merely minutes away from Nixon's presidential library in Yorba Linda. He could walk to this match if he wanted to. Probably get there faster than taking the 60. The ultimate good versus evil matchup, like Macho Man Randy Savage versus Hulk Hogan in WrestleMania 3. Nixon, 5'11", 175, dropped one round to Cool Cal in the first round, but rebounded well, sweeping Madison in the second. Lincoln, 6'4", 180, beat his own vice president in the second round after a first-round bye. Does the bye give Lincoln an advantage?
I think absolutely. Abe needs all the rest he can to be ready for this trickster.
Who knows what's going to happen? The wrestler versus the footballer. By the way, two of the ugliest men in the tournament. Nixon just looked bad on TV when a political opponent called Lincoln two-faced. Lincoln replied, "Hey, if I had two faces, do you think I'd use this one?"
Jim Rome says personal appearance is not show fodder. Besides, who am I to say a guy's good looking or not? I'm not going there.
Yeah, okay, well, a lot of women thought so, though. So does the proximity here to Lincoln's hometown, does that help him any?
Absolutely. This is a huge deal. This might be the first time since the 70s, who knows, that Nixon might actually be the crowd favorite.
Now, Rob Dorian pointed out, O.C. Rob pointed out that Orange County might be the only county in America where people still like him. It goes against every instinct and everything that I believe about good and evil. But for some reason, I gotta go with Nixon. Keep in mind, Nixon lost the 1960 election with a questionable vote count in Illinois. Does Nixon seek to take out his frustrations on the state's greatest resident?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Nixon, he is that dark horse that I think will keep on marching, but this is going to be a good one.
This is going to be a good one. That's going to be good stuff. All right, Dan, wow. Sweet 16, 8 great matches. I'm salivating. I can't wait. Obviously, highlight's going to be Tricky Dick against Honest Abe. Is there any other match that you think deserves more mention?
There is. While I don't think it might be the sexiest matchup there is, but I'm looking at JFK versus Pierce. I think this is one match that is going to go the full distance. If I was a betting man, I am, I would bet this thing goes all 5 rounds. It's going to be a knockdown drag out.
Looking for some good stuff coming up in the coming weekend. All right, hey, let's go. Let's say thanks for coming by. I hope you had fun. We sure did, but we won't quit our day jobs. I want to thank our producer, Casey Moulton. And I want to thank Mr. Brent Allen for letting us borrow his studio here on the campus of Columbia High School. Hey, remember us. He's Hitman Dan Young. I'm Mark Haggard. We're history teachers, and we're going rogue.